Today, we are going to talk about top 20 errors and confusing words in English. Number 1. The bacon and eggs rule. When we have two nouns that are used so often together, we think of them as a singular idea, but we use a singular verb even though they may contain a plural noun. For example, bacon and eggs was served at brunch. Macaroni and cheese is delicious. Where is the cheese and biscuits? Likewise, we use a singular verb when we talk about amounts or quantities. For example, $1,000 is a lot of money. 5 miles is too far to walk. Where is that 10 pounds that you borrowed from me? Expressions with one of are also followed by a singular verb. For example, one of my students is a genius. One of my friends is going to Australia this winter. Number 2. Assure versus insure versus insure. What does assure mean? Assure is something you would do to a person or an animal. These beings can have doubts or insecurities, so you can remove them by giving them assurance. For example, I assure you we will get to the play on time. Chris locked the door, assuring Simon that their dog wouldn't be able to walk out during the night. What does insure mean? When you insure something, you are making sure it's going to happen. For example, we need to study more to ensure we get a passing grade. She scored 5 points last night, ensuring that her team will have a place in the finals. What does insure mean? To insure something or someone is to cover it with an insurance policy, a kind of agreement that states that if something happens to someone or something that's insured, the insurance company will provide compensation. For example, I don't want to insure my car, but the law says I have to. The insurance company said they will not insure our house against floods. Number 3. Who versus whom. Who refers to the subject of the sentence, whereas whom refers to the object of a verb or a preposition. For example, who wants the last piece of pie? Who is the subject. Who do you trust more? You is the subject. Whom is the object. Number 4. Subject-verb agreement with collective nouns. Sounds strange? If the sentence shows more individuality, you would use a plural verb. However, if the noun is acting as a unit, use a singular verb. For example, the team is heading for practice. The team are playing with their families. With a propositional phrase, use a verb tense that corresponds to the subject. For example, nearly 1 in 4 people is Muslim. 1 is the subject, so we use a singular verb is. 25% of people are Muslim. Fractions and percentages can be singular or plural, depending on the propositional phrase that follows. People is plural, so we use are. Number 5. Into versus into. Into is a preposition showing what something is inside. In and to are two words that just happen to be next to each other on occasion. For example, I got into the train. Into is one unit, a preposition. He dropped in to see you. Drop is in one unit on its own, and to see is another unit. Log into the website by pressing this button. Log in is a phrasal verb. Number 6. IE versus EG. IE and EG are both abbreviations of Latin terms. EG is used to introduce a few examples, whereas IE is used to mean, in other words, for example, after work, I would like to check out the new supermarket, i.e. Walden. After work, I would like to go to a supermarket, e.g. Asda Food or Kerry's. Number 7. Historic versus historical. Historic means famous, whereas historical means related to history. For example, what a historic snowstorm. What a historic performance. I decided to wear a historical costume for the Stone Age fair. Number 8. Emigrate versus immigrate. Emigrate means to move away from a city or a country, whereas immigrate means to move into a country from somewhere else. For example, my brother emigrated from Venezuela. My daughter immigrated to the United States. Number 9. Breathe versus breath. Breathe is a verb we use for the process of inhaling and exhaling. Breath is a noun that refers to a full cycle of breathing. I can also refer to the air that is inhaled or exhaled. Both words can be used in several different ways and are part of many phrases and idioms. For example, it seems that he breathed his last breath, so it means he died. Press your shoulder blades down and keep your head and neck relaxed. Hold this for 5 to 10 breaths. Number 10. A lot versus a lot versus a lot. First of all, the word a lot does not exist. A lot is frequently misspelled as one word. A lot, but it's actually two words. For example, I have a lot of money. The word a lot is a verb meaning to distribute. I have allotted this money to the charity.